అన్నా టు స్టార్ట్ విత్ నేను మామూలుగా బ్రీఫ్గా చెప్పి ఐ మేడ్ ఏ స్మాల్ పవర్ పాయింట్ ప్రెజెంటేషన్.
వెరీ గుడ్.
ఏది యుఎన్ క్రియేట్ చేసిన నామ్స్ గవర్నమెంట్ దానం పెట్టింది. అది చెప్పుకుంటా అసలు స్టేట్ గవర్నమెంట్ సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఎప్పుడు ఫామ్ చేసింది అంటే స్టేట్ గవర్నమెంట్లు ఎప్పుడు ఇదైంది మన దగ్గర ఎట్లా అది లేక.
Sir, we are live to the world.
ఓకే సార్, నమస్కారం, గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ అండ్ వెల్కమ్ టు ఆల్ ది పార్టిసిపెంట్స్. ఈరోజు మనం డిస్కస్ చేసేది ముఖ్యంగా రోల్ ఆఫ్ లోకల్ గవర్నమెంట్స్ ఇన్ డిసాస్టర్ మేనేజ్మెంట్. Disasters actually they doesn't happen at a regional and national levels or global levels. It all triggers up at a point like a ripples in the water and spreads over geographical areas. And it all depends on the intensity, how it goes. So it becomes very much important for the global level resolutions and how the national governments accept that to implement at the national levels and percolate down to the panchayat local governments level through the state governments. How do we build the capacities? It's almost more than 30 years that we are talking of the disasters, and our combined state has the worst disaster in 1977, Divisima. లక్షల్లో జనాలు చచ్చిపోయారు. It's not new for the combined state, these natural disasters. They were happening centuries back. It was in 1990 report that we could document the events of the disaster in East Kakinada and around the Machilipatnam zones. All this in a chronological order. So it is not new that disasters are happening now. But in some places, like in Telangana, the dryland, upland areas, we never had any big natural disaster. But a natural phenomena called flooding always happened in the Musi River. And that too, 1908 was a remarkable one, which came to the notice of then people, and then it is only 100.
Hello.
Okay. So it's a very challenging thing. And last 30 years, the frequency of the cloud burst has increased. Short duration, heavy intensity rainfall, sudden flooding, the inefficient capacity of the reservoirs to hold such huge volumes of water is the major cause for disaster. And disasters are getting aggravated because of the man-made obstacles like encroachments on the floodplain areas of the river and not allowing the waters to reach the river systems or their destiny. It's happening in Mumbai, where the entire city is on the seashore, water doesn't reach the sea. And it is also happening in Chennai, the same situation. Hyderabad, water doesn't reach the Musi. Now it's taking more than 1 to 2 months in some areas to reach Musi. Why it's happening? What are these disasters? Okay, can't we, mitigate them? Can't we reduce them? What were the efforts at the global level on these disasters? This year particularly, the climate change uniformly created its impact throughout the world. One side, the forest fires in California region increased the temperatures in North America, Canada, artificial rains in Dubai. These are all the things, which changing and challenging the scientists and the administrators to come together, work, identify the emerging challenges and create a resilient cities and resilient habitations. And this year, the environment subject is also restoring the damaged ecosystems. I feel strongly that more than the physical damage of the ecosystems, it is the damage of the human mentality. The spirit to research, the spirit to share, the spirit to cooperate, spirit to work in a team is deteriorating day by day. This we can clearly see as a case study in the state of Telangana. Let's visit Telangana and look into these aspects of it. And I have a small PowerPoint presentation I would like to share with you and share. Okay, please give me a half a minute.
Great. బన్నీ ఇక్కడ వస్తుందా చూడు. హలో ఉంది సార్, ఇప్పుడు ఇదే నంబర్కి ఇప్పుడు 65339కి.
Hope you can see the PowerPoint presentation. Yes?
Yes, sir. We are able to see.
You see, the whole problem, how you see, the disasters trigger up at the local level, but the local government, they do not have anything to see. They are not involved in the planning, neither in the planning, nor in the capacity building, nor in the execution. They are just neglected. Why? And today we are looking into the entire historical perspective of this disaster management. We have the Disaster Management India Service to the Nation, NDMA, which was established in 2005 and created a lot of guidelines for the state governments to. The primary responsibility of the union government is to identify the issue, do the adequate research of it, and come up with a practical, viable guidelines so that the state governments can easily adopt it to their local conditions. So this is the main objective and the responsibility of NDMA. So NDMA has done its responsibility since 2005 and came out with flood risk reductions and flood controlling mitigations and relief, rehabilitation, rescue. First is the rescue. And the state of Andhra Pradesh, by virtue of its historical experiences, could gain a lot of experience in this. So understand basics of biological cycle, forces of nature, environment. Factors aggravating disaster. Why these disasters are happening? That is most important. We cannot control. You cannot control the wind while you are sailing, but you can always maneuver your, navigation. So the art of navigation is most important than understanding it. Factors aggravating its impact. Why? The impact is increasing. Today we are talking that, into 1977, it's more than 1 lakh people died in the Divi, and then similarly in the Odisha. But today, the human loss is largely controlled to the effective rescue operation. But every year we are losing more than 1,000 crores due to these natural disasters. So how we look into this prediction, when, where, and what will be its intensity. This is most important. This is the primary job of the academic and research institutions, be it at district level, state level, or national level. All the research institutions must come together, share their research for the cause of these disasters and how to. And fundamentally, what we should understand is most of the policy makers and today's bureaucrats think, they can build anything anywhere. But earth is dynamic. It can reject, it can refuse, it can make you perish. And it's organic. It's not a sterile substance. And it is a closed system. Whatever the acts and reacts happen in this closed system will have their short-term and long-term impacts on not only on the nature but also on the human beings. Increase in frequency and intensity of disasters due to unsustainable and unscientific human interventions with the nature. We want to create, resorts in the river origin. We want to create, on the name of river conservation, all kinds of, unscientific things at the banks of the river. Today, Musi, whatever the investment government did on the Musi beautification has all gone into the floods. From whom we will collect this money? Is Chief Secretary responsible for it? Is the elected representative who looks after this as a chairman, is he responsible for it? Who is going to pay these losses? Can the people afford undesired interventions, environmentally sensitive zones, increased risk and many forms? This needs to be understood. The first fundamental thing in the disasters is you have to understand the degree of sensitivity, environmental sensitivity, to assess the risk. This which we are not doing. This is the picture I took in beyond Kottagudem areas in 1998. During 1998, that is almost 23 years back, the extensive deforestation was going on. The huge dense forests are reduced to bush forests, deciduous bush forests. So this is a very dangerous thing. For Telangana, it is the North Telangana and East Telangana. Like Khammam, Warangal, and Adilabad, Nizamabad are prone to the floods very frequently, even during the normal monsoons. But the South Telangana, like Nalgonda, okay, it's all because of the Musi. And Mahbubnagar is a rain shadow zone. You don't find much floods. But this north and east must have a different planning. Bhadrachalam, okay? So these are the typical disaster rescue operations which were carried out during the recent floods. And tomorrow and day after also we may be having the similar situations. And the prediction is there is a continual rain in these zones. So how do we look into this? Natural disasters cause. This is an old from my documents I could. Overall losses amounting to 53 billion US dollars in India 1980 to 2007. Can we afford this? Can we afford to go for unscientific developments in rivers and Himalayas? I think it is much more now. Maybe when you come to 2020 assessments, it could be $220 billion loss. Is there any audit report on the flood losses? Unfortunately, the flood losses assessment must be done by the union government. I do not know why. Can't the local government be prepared and build their capacities to prepare the losses? They know much better. They know what kind of a crop is there in which part of the village. Flood amounted to 77% of the overall losses, 66 of the insurance losses. Of course, our country not gone into the insurance, only still we are struggling to create insurance for the crops. But last 6 years, there is a heavy demand for the insurance claims of the four-wheelers in cities like Hyderabad, Chennai, and Mumbai. I think Mumbai much earlier. Natural disasters cause losses equal to 13.4 of GDP in developing countries, as against 2.5% in the developed. But developed countries are also following that. Like today, we see in Germany and we also see in France. So what's happening? You see, way back, UN made all the attempts to work on the disaster management and brought out several guidelines on principles and practices and involved all the 174 member nations in the deliberations. And India, of course, did very actively, proactively participates in all these deliberations, but never implements back. Let us see what is the Sendai Declaration, disaster risk reduction. What they said, we need to identify the factors which are aggravating the risk. And how do we integrate in mitigating the aggravating factors into the planning? This was the exercise done in the Sendai, Japan. There, we, the heads of state and government ministers, delegates participating in Third United Nations World Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction, have gathered from 14 to 18 March 2015 in Sendai city of Miyagi Prefecture in Japan, which has demonstrated a vibrant recovery from Great East Japan earthquake in March 2011. Recognizing the increasing impact of disasters and their complexity in many parts of the world, we declare our determination to enhance our effort to strengthen disaster risk reduction to reduce disaster losses of life assets from the disaster. I would like to comment here very strongly. You see, the factors which increase the risk, aggravates the risk during any disaster. 2020 has clearly gave us the picture of Nala encroachments, lake encroachments, and all kinds of illegal constructions which were supported by the ruling government. That is the major. Niti Aayog, which is the Planning Commission's replacement, also gave a report on that. What is that we discussed on this? Did GHMC discuss on it? Forget about the GHMC. At least the people, so civil society groups, to what extent they have discussed on disaster aggravating factors of the floods in Hyderabad. And the media in state, they say, sir, let's not talk on encroachment. And do you find any alternatives? What kind of illegal, illogical, unscientific, strategies the media is also promoting with the government? This is a very unfortunate thing. And this factor, disaster risk reduction, is not a great scientific thing, and people can sit and discuss. What's happening to the chief secretary? Is he sleeping these days and spending merrily 15,000 crores? We value the important role played by the HIGO framework for action 2005 to 2015. Building resilience to nations, communities to disaster during the past decades. Having completed the assessment review of the considered the experience gained under the implementation, we hereby adopt the Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction for 2015 to 2030. That falls in line with SDG goals. To what extent we have come out with this? Does the state government came out with any white paper on this? Integrating this with the SDG goals, disaster risk reduction. Today the entire state, last year, Warangal, affected. Today, this year, the Nirmal, Adilabad, Ahimsa, you name it, all those zones in the north Telangana got affected. We are strongly committed to the implementation. Somebody please mute your mic We are strongly committed to the implementation of the new framework as the guide to enhance our efforts for future. We means 174 countries, and India is one of the signatories, and Telangana government is no different. It is part of India, and it has to obey, oblige, and implement these rules. There is no other alternative that we keep illegal constructions and then do something. We call all stakeholders to action, aware that realization of new framework depends on our unceasing and tireless collective efforts. Is there any debate which happened between the civil societies, scientists, universities, and the government? The world safer from risk of disaster in the decades to come for the benefit of the present and future generations. Yes, the policymakers and governments are making money, looting all the money. They will, the moment they are defeated in the coming election, they will vanish from this place and go to some other country, which happens frequently with the Africans. Okay, we thank the people and the government of Japan as well as the city of Sendai for hosting the Third United Nations World Conference. Disaster risk and extend our appreciation to Japan for its commitment to advancing disaster risk reduction in the global development agenda. Global development agenda must percolate to the panchayat. Did we translate and did this? As the resource person, I conducted several workshops with MCHRDI on Sendai framework and implementation to the office. Unfortunately, the executives are present participate in this, but the decision maker, the so-called IAS, they never participate in this workshop. It should be made mandatory. Disaster risk management. 2005, the government of India created National Disaster Risk and asked the state governments to create the same, even at the district levels. At the district levels, it is the district collector who is responsible for this. I will show you some of the website informations of our Telangana district disaster management. I think your blood will boil. Collector prepares the district disaster management. Did any collector prepare this? And it must be handed over to the Panchayat Raj. Okay? All the departments who are involved in this disaster, revenue department, health department, agriculture department, groundwater department, all these people must coordinate within them, even the law and order, police department. I had that opportunity of training even the law and order police officers. But the problem is, the officers also feel the sad state of affairs in our state. It is a triangular relationship. It calls for convergence. Central government, state and local government. Telangana has 12,769 panchayats, 128 municipalities and 13 corporations, which doesn't do anything but we have namesake and we are spending crores of rupees for their elections. And the panchayat presidents also say, sir, I could not construct the Swargadhama. Forget about the Swargadhama. How resilient is your village? Will it be affected with the floods? No. Panchayats are like that. Universities are like that. We have to create the trained human resources at the panchayat level itself. I will show you one slide which recently I got. This is the effort made by higher school students from Kerala. Student team up with river conservation group is forecasting the flood. Can't we make it? What has happened to the Telangana teachers? They talk so much and ask for so many things. Only we want to do goody things where we get rewards. Okay? This is my humble request to the teachers of Khammam. Think of this and any other places. Okay. Meanwhile, two educational institutions have expressed interest in analyzing the river monitoring. How do you create? How do you create the future generation to address the challenges? Plans are also afoot to expand groups' activity to other issues faced by the river. These kids, students of St. Joseph's School, Malayanchi Para, are part of 30-member student group that assist Meenachil River Protection Council. Do we have student councils, NSS students, who can come forward to work on Usman Sagar issue? It is time. It is time that the state should think of, promoting the human resources in the disaster risk management. We cannot depend on the NDRFI to come to our rescue every time. We have to think of building these. And today, it's a great discovery that our Principal Secretary Arvind Kumar has found a flood monitoring equipment in Usman Sagar. Okay? So everybody is happy. What were they doing? Did they ever? They had only one thing, remove GO 111, make money and create more price. I tell you, I take this advantage and tell you, 100 साल के बाद भी मैं जिंदा हूं उस्मान सागर हिमायत सागर ने कहते हैं अपने होश आराम में रहिए हमें भी काम करने दीजिए we are alive even after 100 years we are still continue to serve the humanity please allow us to serve the people. That is the voice of Usman Sagar. Please sir forget about GO triple. So we need to look into it, and now I will show you this, disaster management. The chairperson of the district management authority, okay, do you have this? Will be the collector or district minister or deputy commissioner. Okay, you have a helpline 1078. Please try it. You may be lucky, like getting a Bhagyalakshmi lot. Okay. Disaster risk management for Medak district. Same thing. They have not done anything and say preparedness to deal with any disaster, prevention of danger threat by any disaster. But the disaster risk management plan of Medak district did not give information on what are the likely prone flood affected areas of India. You go to the website, and the last one, State Disaster Response and Fire Services Department. You see, how funny. We are more worried about the Hyderabad, where the fire accidents do happen. So, the State Disaster Response, what is the response? It is the preparedness. It is the planning that requires, even for the fire services. The Disaster Risk Management Authority, I do not know whether it is functioning or defunctioning in the state. And the department is supposed to be the revenue department to take all these things into account. And other line departments must join hands with the revenue department in this. And the State Training Institute, please mute your mic. And please mute your mic. And they have the state MCHRDA is doing its best and even conducted UNDP training programs on disaster risk reduction. And the new government after 2014, it said after the bifurcation we have also sent the cyclones to Andhra, disasters to Andhra. No sir, they are here. They are with us. And under the climate change, please, under the climate change, it is the dryland areas in semi-arid regions which will continue to experience high-intensity cloud bursts and the disaster, not the coastal areas. And this we are experiencing. And the state Department of Economics and Statistics came out with a very good report on weather and climatology of Telangana with very good statistical and graphical information. But only thing, I congratulate them, and I also wish that the state chief secretary will ask the concerned bureaucrats to read this. And the only thing is in this, since they have no, what I found the gap is there is no input from the academic and research institution. That could be the possibility that you do not find any specific, uh, you know, uh, points that they brought in this, and also the recommendations for action plan. But one thing they said is it is the North Telangana and East Telangana. The frequency of the high intensity rainfalls are going on, and then it is moving in these areas, and prediction very heavy in North Telangana. Adilabad, Kumaran, Bhim, Nirmal, Kamareddy, Jagitial, Mancherial. Yes, these are the areas which affected even the recent floods. And in the eastern place, Mulugu, Bhadradri, Kottagudem, Khammam, and Warangal rural. And the trend is increasing last 17 years. Then why are we sleeping on this? So we need to look into these aspects of it. And district disaster. And I do not know whether we have and we need to work on prevention, preparedness, response, and recovery. This can happen only when we strengthen the local government. The disaster starts like a ripple in the water body at a point. So we need to identify this aggravating factor and start strengthening the local governments, be it municipality, nagarpalika, corporation, or panchayats. I thank one and all for giving me this opportunity to bring out a brief presentation before you all on the disaster risk reduction and the role of local governments in this. This is very important to us. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Jay.
Thank you.
Jeera rice.
Thank you. Purushottam Reddy garu.
Yeah.
If anybody in it, Jagannath Dar is here, Sai Kumar is here, Bhanu Prakash, yes, from the Bureau of Indian Standards, Nagpur is here, and Subhash Reddy is here, and Sadanand Reddy is here. Okay. Balaswamy, our colleague, is also here. So I request you to facilitate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Subbarao Garu. After listening to you, it's very difficult to add any new dimension. You have wonderfully covered the entire subject from Kyogo Conference 2005. Based on the recommendations of Kyogo, the Government of India had set up, constituted the National Disaster Management Authority, and we know what followed after that. It works directly under the Prime Minister, but we had a vice chairman to conduct the day-to-day proceedings. In fact, as you rightly pointed out, NDMA did an excellent job when it comes to doing its at the national level, sensitizing research and development and creating some institutions like the disaster ND response force, National Disaster Response Force. What we notice is that in this country, state disaster management authorities, the states have failed to give the kind of importance the center gave to NDMA. As a result, we see a big yawning gap between the performance of the NDMA at the national level and the performance of the state disaster management authorities at the state level. In many of the states, it's very difficult even to locate the SDMA. Maybe in the secretariat a room will be allotted and nothing more. Because basically the state government's focus is not on disaster reduction or management of mitigation or even what we call after the catastrophe, after the disaster, the kind of activities that should be undertaken to provide a healing touch to the ecology and to the people. Having said this, at the state government level, it is the chief secretary who is more important, but it directly chief secretary functions under the chief minister. But when it comes to the district, it's very clear and obvious that the district collector is, he is the one who is going to preside and conduct everything. What we notice in the entire thing that there is nothing like a local disaster management authority. They were, the entire debate or the chain ends at the district level. And actually, as I already pointed out, at the state level, the SDMA is dysfunctional. At the district level, the disaster management, district disaster DDMA is dysfunctional. And they never thought it necessary to go to the local government, whether it is the municipality or the Gram Panchayats. There are, I do not know whether there are any recorded evidences of the disaster management authority conducting Grama Sabhas in the areas which are likely to be affected by disasters in the event of a cyclone or flood. I'm not speaking in the context of long-term disasters, particularly in Telangana. We had long gaps in rainfall earlier. Mahbub Nagar was virtually about to become a desert, and like Anantapur. So desertification, drought, these are long-term impacts of environmental degradation and wrong irrigation policies of the respective state government. That apart, what I notice is the reluctance of the state government to give disaster management its due place. Okay, having said this, I wish to point out the sorry plight of the local governments, because if they are efficient, if they are competent, if they are empowered, only then they can be in a position to address the disaster issues. First of all, they do not, not effective devolution of powers has taken place. In Amke 29 powers have been transferred to the Gram Panchayats and 18 to the Nagar, the urban local governments. But again, when you look at the actual powers that have been transferred to the local bodies, it is all piecemeal, insignificant, and in fact, it has a paralytic effect on the functioning of the local government. And simultaneously, the state governments have created several parallel state organizations like the District Health Society, the District Rural Development Authority, District Water and Sanitation. So many organizations at the district level, and nowhere are the local governments really taken into confidence. Somehow the state government thinks that the local governments are not competent, as if they are the very custodians of all knowledge and wisdom and experience. Anyway, we go a little further. The subjects that have been allotted to the local government, rural panchayats, and also the municipal corporations, which are mentioned in the 11th and 12th schedules, are basically we need to take it as illustrative and not exhaustive. New subjects need to be added to the local government lists. And suppose there is a local government very dynamic and dashing, and they have a vision of their own, and they conduct Grama Sabha regularly, and the Grama Sabha is direct democracy where all the people, every voter congregate and they express their views, and suppose they have a vision of collective security, collective development, and everybody knows that the actual money that they generate by direct taxation is less than 10%. I'm quoting Government of India figures. For the remaining part of the money, they are dependent on the center and also the states. Even then, because the flow from the state government is always unpredictable, and the Gram Panchayats are always starving of funds. Now, suppose they wish to go in for a bank loan, maybe for the restoration of their village tank or some drinking water scheme or some other very important scheme. The state government has to give the surety. Now, what is this lacuna? If a local government wishes to develop and if they have plans and they prepare the proposals, why can't the banks give directly to the local government? Where is the need for the state government to give surety? I mean, this kind of linkages, this is strangling the progress of the local government. One more point, state, there is what is known as all of us are aware, every MLA and every MP has what everybody knows as LAD funds, LAD funds, local area development funds. I don't understand, as a very senior political scientist, why should the MLA or the MP be given local area funds when we have duly elected local governments in place, whether it is the municipalities or municipal corporations or the Gram Panchayats? Why can't that money be directly given to the Gram Panchayat? This, my friend Sai, he has been working on this, and he is also there in this gathering. And because of his very hard work, in fact, I requested him to speak today. He has given all this, very deep insights. One important suggestion that Sai made is that a parliamentary committee be constituted on the lines of Public Affairs Committee or a parliamentary committee on science and technology, environment. No, on similar lines, a parliamentary committee be constituted with the intention of strengthening local governments. This is very important because in spite of the 73rd and 74th Amendment, in spite of the fact that today they enjoy constitutional protection, we see that they are starved of money, powers, and they stand neglected, and the state government is all the time very keen to prove that they are incompetent, inefficient, and therefore not capable of. And what is worse, that the elections, in spite of the State Election Commission, the elections are not held periodically, funds are not given in spite of the State Finance Commission. Today, the local governments in India are suffering great neglect in spite of a proactive approach from the center, but negligence from the state government. I wish to just to add a little more to the debate. I'm happy. Most of the points mentioned by B.V. Subbarao Garu, they are very, very valid. But I wish to add two more. One, it is very important that the government prepare an environmental impact assessment for anything which they consider to be development and when they are promoting on behalf of the people. That has to be shared with the people in the Grama Sabhas. Suppose a dam or a tank is coming up and, the government allots the money and some irrigation canal comes, or maybe sometimes a chemical industry like Union Carbide or maybe a nuclear reactor. The government should honestly share. They should share the entire report, and there should be proper public hearing. This is very, very important. So this, since the government, most of the activity in most of the, whether it is center or states, when it comes to environment, it's always the same. The central government so far has not created environmental, what we call protection authority, EPA. India, that is Bharat, a 70-year-old democracy, we still do not have it. In spite of the laws, in spite of Supreme Court giving several times directions, we don't have it. Not only we don't have EPA, but we don't trust the people with information in this country. People will have to file, information, seeking information under RTI. I mean, I don't understand where is the need for opaqueness in the functioning of the government. Why can't they be transparent and be accountable to the people? Anyway, that is hurting. And lastly, when it comes to disaster preparedness, I have yet to see a particular any collector going to the villages, talking to the people, telling them in advance, now preparing the mindset of the people, whether it is coastal areas or in an area like Patancheru, adjacent to industrial areas, there can be a gas leak. There can, effluents flow in the streams in Patancheru, Nakabag. Have the people been told what is its impact on their morbidity profile? Is it not a disaster manifesting already? Then what happened? I was going through the literature because a national NDMA came into being in 2005, but the Bhopal gas disaster took place in 1984. And there is nothing like a mention of an industrial accident in the NDMA reports. There is nothing like, a mention of the increasing toxicity that is there in the air in all the North Indian cities, particularly Delhi. Definitely, they did a lot of work when it comes to urban flooding, but other implications are totally missed out. So I would like to stop here, and we have youngsters like Sai Kumar. I request Sai to initiate discussion so that since he has done a lot of work, and thereafter others can, experts like Jagannath Garu, they can continue. Subhana, back to you.
Hi, Kumar. I invite you to, and the floor is yours. Briefly, you can explain, what are your views and perceptions. Sai Kumar, are you there?
Okay, others can take over. Yes. Sai, please speak.
Sir, sorry, sir.
Yeah, please. No, sorry. Come on.
Sir, good evening, all the versatile personalities present here. Sir, myself, Sai Kumar.
Bit louder and close to the mic.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible.
Oh. Sir, sir, this is my first meeting in this kind of meeting, sir. So, bit nervous I am.
No, don't worry. Since you know the subject, you did a lot of homework. So,
sir, thank you, sir.
Feel free to speak.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, here our topic is disaster management and local role of local governments. Sir, let me give a brief about Disaster Management Act, that is NDMA, which was formed in 2005. Sir, we have I gone through this particular act. There are so many lofty ideal what we can say ideal planning and is there, but which is not what can I say is impactable or implementable, because see we are mentioning only about NDMA, and what I mean is we have just considered NDMA. Because our consideration is only district level authorities can handle such disasters. That would be our main consideration. That's the reason we never mentioned about local bodies, their powers or their role in this particular act in 2005 act. So what I observed in this particular act is we have NDMA, under which we have National Executive Committee, which is actually actual executing body under NDMA, which is whose chairperson is Secretary of Central Government Secretary, I think. Cabinet Secretary, I think. NDMA is its chairperson is Prime Minister, but is always, as is being a Prime Minister, would be busy. So National Executive Committee, actual executing body, which is chaired by Secretary, Chief Secretary. Next we have SDMA, under which we have State Executive Committee, which is chaired by State Secretary. Next DDMA, under which we have District Executive Committee, which is chaired by Collector or District Magistrate or District Commissioner, because we have different district what we can say governances. In some district governance we have highest authorities, Collector, and some others District Commissioners. So these three, either whichever is there, they would be the chairman of this district body. Next, we don't have any mentioning about local governments. This is what I think it's a consideration of the framers, the act, whoever prepared them. It's considered local government or local bodies not having that executing capability or competence. They might have thought so. This is actually what we have to consider is the first people and the first reactants or the first impacted people are local people, local governments, which are the first impacted thing. But we are excluded them from the our framing of this from our this particular what we can say procedure of disaster management. So this is one concern, sir. As Subbarao also mentioned, mock drills were conducting for fire accidents. Sir, I think mock drills are conducting with an utopian consideration that everything like if a real accident happens, there will be no in like mock drills we watch the carbon dioxide cans, everything present there. But in real situations, we have no building construction complaints certificates. We never issue them. As in 2020-21 itself, in Gujarat and Maharashtra, so many hospitals were burned under due to short circuits, and so many patients were died. So what it literally means is the so-called complaints monitoring agencies, they are not working in cities or town planning committees. They are not literally working. As we saw last year in Hyderabad floods, complete colonies were under flood water, inundated, because they were never having permission from these local town planning agencies. So that kind of complaints mechanism bodies, they were never got any permission. They were formed layouts and uh, built homes, and they sold. They did their business, but they forgot this kind of circumstances they might have faced. So this is one thing. So as our noisy democracy, we can discuss so many problems in our system, but what I think the practical solution for all these things is we cannot force any central government to make acts upon local governments, because as the local government is in state list, so we cannot ask for the central government to make such laws. And when we come to state governments, they feel local government presidents or local body presidents, they are they literally they elect through a party, on a party ticket. So they never question, or they never put forth their local problems in front of their, as they consider as boss. In democracy, nobody is boss and nobody is a subordinate or subaltern. Nothing like that. But we can see it in on ground. Reality is that local leaders, local representatives, they always do this psychopathic, what we call chaplusi, like kind of politics they do. So they never put forth our problem. So what I think is we must aware the people on ground. Then only it could be possible to make any difference in kind of governance we have today. Under this NDMA, National Disaster Management Act. So actually, see, we have 6 steps in dealing with disaster management, like first 3 steps, which are prevention, mitigation, and preparedness, which will be of pre-disaster phase measures. So we could prevent some disaster to happen. Like only a few disasters we can prevent, and some disasters like earthquake or storms, like we can say tsunami. Like these kind of disaster we cannot prevent, but certainly we can mitigate, because mitigation means we can reduce the risk of loss of property or life. For that, we can make some construction plan. As Subbar also mentioned about Japan's kind of activism in disaster risk management. Like literally in Japan, it comes under this ring of fire zone, where actually lot of what we can say due to plate tectonics. It is a volatile territory which will get earthquakes, tsunamis year on year. So there they made some research on construction of buildings. Their building construction is resilient to earthquakes. But in our India, we have divided India into 4 zones of these earthquake-prone zones. In these 4 zones, we have about 48% of our land, of our Indian land is prone to severe earthquake, earthquake prone. But we don't have any such building, earthquake resilient building, like structure planning. We don't have any kind of research on that. And sir, one more thing, sir. In India, when we come to activism, many of us do environmental activism from sitting under an AC. So it is sorry to say, but we cannot do environmental activism by sitting under AC, because AC itself is hydrochlorophlorin. Now hydrofluorine gases it causes hydrofluoric gases release, which are, I think,
Yeah, thank you, Sai Kumar.
thank you,
Can
sir.
you give a summary of your highlight points?
Sir, okay, sir. So disaster management, sir, we need to first take this first pre-disaster phase mechanism, prevention, mitigation, preparedness. In this, we are today in Telangana. We are promoting this monoculture forestation. This is not going to give any good solution, sir, because monoculture in Sumatra and Borneo, we have a case study where they promoted palm tree cultivation. Due to that, the endemic species of the Sumatra and Borneo, which is
One
orangutan.
second. No. Summary of the points, case studies not. Because I have to accommodate others.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. One thing, Sai Kumar, I
Sir.
do not know when did you enter into environment, but all of us, we have traveled, walked miles together across the country and across the continents in some places.
Sir, I am aware,
Okay.
sir.
So generally, I think your exposure is more to the people who sit in the air-conditioned areas and talk on environment activism. But
Sir.
I'm sorry to say, I do
Sir,
not
I
agree
was
with
just-
you 90% or not. But last 15 years, this breed is increasing. Okay, and let us not go into the debate on this. Okay, there are
Okay, sir.
several senior persons who are
Sir.
here, and I request Bhanu Prakash ji, you would like to share anything particular? Now you are working on the watershed area of the Kolar region. Bhanu Prakash ji. Okay. Sudanand Reddy garu. Sudanand Reddy. Okay. And Shazma, you joined very late. You missed the PowerPoint presentation,
दिखा है?
which could have helped you.
दिखे क्या?
But anyway, you can
दिखे? बाहर आया है?
Yes, sir.
participate and listen to the seniors.
अरे वन पॉइंट जोड़ा मरे
Jagannath garu. Are you there, Jagannath?
Yes, sir.
Please, sir, most welcome. Your inputs are
Arre,
so
baat hai.
valuable
Yes,
to
sir.
us.
Yes, sir. There is one parallel webinar going on with 310 people.
Okay.
And I put a question and I'm coming here because this is also important. అందరికీ నమస్కారం అండి. నేను జగన్నాథ్, ప్రొఫెసర్ జగన్నాథ్ ఫ్రమ్ మైసూర్. ఇప్పుడు నేను తెలుగులో మాట్లాడుతున్నాను. ఇఫ్ దెర్ ఇస్ ఎనీ కొద్దిగా డిఫికల్ట్ ఉంటే ఇంగ్లీష్లో చేస్తున్నాను.
సరే సరే.
I am having 2 minutes agenda to communicate. ఇప్పుడు why disaster management today? That is my first question. Disasters were there since time immemorial. Disasters were there since time immemorial. ఇప్పుడు 1900లో ప్రతి వర్షలో 50 డిజాస్టర్ ఈస్ ఎస్టిమేటెడ్. ఇప్పుడు ప్రతి సంవత్సరాలు 200 are there. Earlier it was 50 in 1900. It has become 4 times in 200. That's why you find so much of cyclone, floods. ఇప్పుడు అమెరికా, యూరోప్, చైనా, ఎక్కడ ఉంటే అక్కడ ఫ్లడ్స్. సో డిజాస్టర్స్ ఆర్ ఆల్రెడీ దేర్ సిన్స్ టైమ్ ఇమ్మమోరియల్. ఇప్పుడు ఎక్కువ ఉంది. దట్స్ వన్ పాయింట్. The second point is, in disasters there are 2 things. One is natural, another is man-made. Natural ante cyclone, earthquake, volcanic eruption, and you will be surprised to know, ippudu 148 kilometers of Orissa coast has gone into Bay of Bengal. ఆఫ్ఘనిస్తాన్ 25 ఇయర్స్లో ఒకసారి ఫ్యామిన్ అవుతుందండి. ఇప్పుడు 5 years వన్స్. కర్ణాటకలో బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ఫ్లడ్స్ అండ్ ఫ్యామిన్స్ వీ గాట్ 15,400 crores లాస్ ఎస్టిమేటెడ్ ఇన్ 2019 and 20. మన దగ్గర ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ స్టాటిస్టిక్ లేడు, బట్ యూ కెన్ గెట్ ఇట్. సో దట్ ఈస్ అనదర్ పాయింట్. ఇఫ్ సో, ఎపిడమిక్ రిలేటెడ్ థింగ్స్ వాస్ 1898 యాక్ట్ అండి ఇండియాలో. 1890s or so. They transformed into National Disaster Act. ఇప్పుడు మన అందరూ చెప్పారు కదా, నేషనల్ డిజాస్టర్ యాక్ట్ 2005 ఇప్పుడు ఉంది. దట్ హ్యాస్ బీన్ లింక్ టు ఎపిడమ్ యాక్ట్ ఆఫ్ 1890 or something. సో pandemic today is managed by Disaster Management Act. But the fact is, one forgotten fact is, every district has got a disaster management plan. But it is namkavaste. It is like our EPA Act. See, we are very good in having laws. That's why it is said India, we have got first class constitution, third class democracy. We have got first class constitution, third class democracy. అక్కడ జెఫర్సన్ అంబేద్కర్ ఉందండి, అమెరికా అంబేద్కర్. ఎందుకంటే అతనే కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ రచించారు. You know what he says? Government is a necessary evil. You choose how much you want. Government is a necessary evil. You choose how much you want. అప్పుడు ఏమి, వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఇన్ఫరెన్స్? ఇన్ఫరెన్స్ అంటే దోస్ హూ ఆర్ ప్రభుత్వ సంఘం ఉన్నారో క్లాస్, they dominate everything and they manage everything. Very simple truth, which even a common man can understand. You need to be a very big academician or researcher. ఇప్పుడు ఇంత బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్లో మన దిస్ వెరీ స్కెచ్ ఐఎమ్ గివింగ్ యూ ద డీటెయిల్స్. టెక్నాలజీలో కూడా ఇప్పుడు ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ ఇంపాక్ట్ అసెస్మెంట్ వచ్చింది, తర్వాత ఈఎంఎస్ వచ్చింది, తర్వాత లైఫ్ సైకిల్ అసెస్మెంట్ ఉంది, తర్వాత ఎన్విరాన్మెంటల్ టెక్నాలజీ ఉంది. చాలా టెక్నాలజీలు ఎవాల్వ్ అవుతుంది. ద పాయింట్ ఈస్ స్పేస్ ఆల్సో ఈస్ ఎవాల్వింగ్. స్పేస్ టెక్నాలజీ 1960s it started. Now we are able to have 2G, 3G. We are getting photos from Mars. And everybody was telling why you should go to Mars, why you should go to Moon. One day firecrackers will cost you in India, Deepavali is 3,000 crores. You can go to Moon and come back. And India has got $800 billion as the black money. That is the panel report in the Lok Sabha itself. నేనేం ఇన్ఫరెన్స్ పెట్టానంటే, ఇప్పుడు ఇండివిజువల్ అండ్ కమ్యూనిటీ షుడ్ బి టేకన్ టు కాన్ఫిడెన్స్. వెదర్ దిస్ డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ కలెక్టర్స్ బ్లా 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 బ్లా, వెదర్ ఈవెన్ ద కోర్ట్స్ అట్లీస్ట్ దే ఆర్ బికమింగ్ నౌ సెన్సిటివ్ అండ్ యాక్టివ్ సార్. బట్ దే ఆర్ ఆల్సో ఫెయిలింగ్ టెరిబుల్లీ. 2017లో ఆర్ఓ వాటర్ బ్యాన్ చేశారు సుప్రీం కోర్టు, దెన్ నేషనల్ గ్రీన్ ట్రిబ్యునల్. ఇప్పుడు ఎలా ఆఫీసులు, పబ్లిక్ ప్లేసులు, ఇంట్లో everybody is left and using TDS waters in RO because RO technology cannot keep this 500 milligram per liter TDS minimum prescribed by BAS, which our Banu Prakash knows. BAS and it should be 2000. Kaveri water lo, Kaveri catchment lo 200 is the minimum, 2000 is the maximum. ఇప్పుడు ఎందుకు ఆర్ఓ వాటర్ యూనిట్ చేయాలా ఇక్కడ మైసూరు కావేరీ జలనయన ప్రదేశాలు? అంటే we do have rules, we do have regulations, but we don't have what is required is the conscience. Conscience అంటే ఏమంటే the capability to decide between right and wrong. It's not consciousness. It's not consciousness is not different. It is simply capability to decide between right and wrong. అందుకే నేను ఏమో ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ ఇప్పుడు ఈ క్షణంలో చెప్తానంటే, we should empower the individual to take care of their environment. If that is the ultimate aim kept in our activity, it will touch upon everything. It is like a watershed. A river is simply a form of tributaries. Reddy garu, Subbarao garu, అందరూ నేను చాలా 1 or 2 months ఐఎమ్ వాచింగ్. what is required today, this should continue, the dialogue should continue, and young people like Sai. Sir, Sai, you kindly look into the Center for Science and Environment, sir. 1982, they are bringing the citizens report. See, there are wonderful cases on this disaster management and related things. The young people should be pressed into making every weekly 1 hour effort. You will have a deluge of people's vision, people's approach to various problems they are suffering. Conclusively, I want to tell you one thing, that people, community are living through this disaster since time immemorial. They have the capability. I will tell you 2 cases and close it. One is in Central Asia today, people are very comfortable for cyclone, earthquake. It could be landslide. They are very comfortable because they are trained, they are empowered, they are made prepared. But where are we? Throughout India, there is so much of floods, sir. And every time they call this team, that team and all. What is this, sir? And the politicians don't have anything else to do. They will be simply trying to take advantage. And okay, what we should do is, on a weekly basis, each one of us should have some documentation of the reality and bring it to the focus of the people, so that we take up issue by issue. And the 12th schedule, which has got 18, tasks for the urban local bodies, for example, the 30, there are so many good points. Because L.C. Jain, the father of 73rd, 74th Amendment, I remember once he told, what is the transparency in the urban governance or rural governance? ఒక పంచాయత్ చైర్మన్ 10,000 డబ్బు తీసుకున్నారండి, కరప్షన్. ఎవ్రీ మెంబర్ విల్ కమ్ టు నో దట్. ద నెక్స్ట్ మీటింగ్ దే విల్ ఆస్క్, అయ్యా మహాశయ, ఆ డబ్బు ఇక్కడ పెట్టండి, తర్వాత మాతండి. దట్ ఈస్ ద ట్రాన్స్పరెన్సీ ఈవెన్ టుడే ఇట్స్ అలైవ్. ఈవెన్ ద rural and everywhere its politics is infiltrating. Ultimately, that is going to win over, sir. అందుకే we have to continue this dialogue, and we should quantify, and we should communicate to ourselves, to our people who can understand. Then that is the only solution, sir. This is you. Thank you very much, Subbarao garu.
Thank you, Jagannath garu. I would like to show a small YouTube, particularly. Okay, please give me just 2 minutes. Okay.
Please, sir, please go ahead.
This is empowering the people, what communities, what Jagannath is talking, and what I would like to, particularly with young people like Sai Kumar and Shazma and my friend Subhash. Please look into this.
बाहर डेटा हब आपको अपनी रुचि की बस्तियों के बारे में बाहर की अग्रिम जानकारी देगा। कृपया अपने आसपास के
Hope you can see this.
ये जानकारी साझा करने के लिए अपने स्थानीय संचार चैनल
Flood information in the rural areas. They have created an app which the communities themselves can please look at.
ताकि हम रियल टाइम डेटा का उपयोग करके अपने मॉडल को बेहतर बना सकें। बाहर डेटा हब खोलने के लिए कृपया g.co/flood hub पर जाएं। यहाँ आप उपलब्ध बस्तियों और नीचे 2 कार्ड के साथ अपने क्षेत्र का नक्शा देख सकते हैं। शीर्ष कार्ड आपकी रुचि की शीर्ष बस्तियों का त्वरित दृश्य दिखाता है। पृष्ठ खोलने के लिए प्रत्येक स्थान पर क्लिक करें जहां आप प्रतिशत में जल भराव की सीमा, क्षेत्र कवरेज और कुछ स्थितियों में जल गहराई अनुमान के साथ मानचित्र देख सकते हैं। ये जानकारी वर्तमान समय और पूर्वानुमान के लिए उपलब्ध है, जो भविष्य में आमतौर पर कुछ दिन तक रहते हैं। ये भाग पूर्वानुमान के समय नदी में अपेक्षित जल बदलाव होता है। ये संख्या उस क्षेत्र के भाग को दर्शाती है जो पानी से भर गया है और पूर्वानुमान में ये कैसे बदलता है। ये ग्राफ अब और पूर्वानुमान में स्थान के भागों के संदर्भ में अनुमानित पानी की गहराई को दर्शाता है। उदाहरण के लिए पानी की ये गहराई छाती के स्तर पर है। नक्शे को देखने से आप ये देख पाते हैं कि किन इलाकों में बाढ़ आ गई। नक्शे को बड़ा किया जा सकता है और आप अपने क्षेत्र में और बस्तियों को देखने के लिए जूम आउट कर सकते हैं। आप नक्शे के शीर्ष से पहले देखी गई बस्तियां भी चुन सकते हैं। जिन बस्तियों को आप ट्रैक करना जारी रखना चाहते हैं, आप उन्हें स्थान पृष्ठ पर सितारे पर क्लिक करके पसंदीदा के रूप में चिन्हित कर सकते हैं। स्थानीय पृष्ठ में और मुख्य पृष्ठ में आप वर्तमान जल स्तर पर रिपोर्ट कर सकते हैं। जब आप मापने में हमारी मदद करें बटन पर क्लिक करते हैं, तो अपने वर्तमान स्थान पर पानी की गहराई का सर्वश्रेष्ठ अनुमान चुनें और सबमिट करें पर क्लिक करें। यदि आप उस स्थान पर डेटा देना चाहते हैं जहां आप दिन में पहले गए थे, तो रिपोर्ट सबमिट करने से पहले आप समय या स्थान संपादित कर सकते हैं। कृपया इस बाढ़ अलर्ट को अपने स्थानीय संचार माध्यमों पर अपने आसपास के उन लोगों के साथ साझा करना सुनिश्चित करें जो खतरे में हो।
So thank you so much. This is one app. What I'm saying is, my personal experience walking in Kosi River 2008 devastations. You see, there was a group in Kosi River area where we used to organize a campaign called "Phir se baad aayegi jaagte raho." You know, people were so trained by themselves, nobody taught them. They know that Kosi River shifts from one east to west frequently. So they have a huge military trunk which they keep all the essentials so that even if they might move to a safer area, they can take care of themselves, their groceries and things for 10 days. So this is how the Bihar communities, though may not be educated well, economically not well, but they know how to live with the flood. And they also know flood brings a lot of fertile soil and they get very rich crops. So we need to understand them, but we cannot scale the people. We have to prepare the people for this. So that is most important what I felt. And I request anybody, if would like to share, they can raise their hand and talk. Okay. So thank you so much. And I request my good friend Dr. Shiv Prasad to give his comments on this. Dr. Shiv Prasad, are you there? Shiv Prasad,
Yes, sir, very much.
please, sir.
No, before that, Shiv Prasad, I want to just add one input. What Subbarao Garu showed us now, it's a wonderful best practice. See, we are not good in documentation, sir. Whether it could be spitting on our road, putting a layer of soil, that is a good practice. If the corona were not to be there, we would have been competing in Olympics for spitting, sir. Longest spitter, like that. I'm just telling you humorously. So documenting our practices like Amruta Balli, a plant which can cure you, prevent you health. These are all small things. Andaman Nicobar, tribals know when the cyclones are coming in advance. Some plants, some animals respond. See, there are so many natural and community-based solutions to these disasters. That should be documented, sir. Whatever Subbarao has shown us is a wonderful thing. On the same line, small things also should be put. And it should not be, last thing, it should not be under the myth that technology is the solution. Technology is only the means, whether it is space or, some mystifying interpretations or some astrologers' predictions. All these are only traps. We have to live through, because science is self-correcting. Technology does not have an internal control. I want to thank Subbarao Garu and everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Your suggestion validates a lot, sir. And I had the great opportunity with the grace of the God. I could document in the Kosi River after, devastation in 2008. I have spent with my colleagues traveling up to its barrage in Nepal, talking to people and conducting several community consultations. And I will definitely share those things and trying to document everything. And Balaswamy has raised his voice. Balaswamy, you can unmute and...
Please give a presentation, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Balaswamy, Balaswamy, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Please చెప్పమ్మా.
గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్ ఎవ్రీబడి.
Thank you.
అయితే ఈ డిజాస్టర్ గురించి మన ఇందాక మన సార్ చాలా చక్కగా వివరించారు. అయితే ఈ డిజాస్టర్స్ అనేది ఏంటంటే మన మానవ తప్పిదం వల్లనే ఇది జరుగుతుంది సార్. యాక్చువల్గా ఏంటంటే మనిషికి బ్లడ్ కానీ ఏది కానీ మన మానవ శరీరంలో ఏది తక్కువైనా ఏ విధంగా మనకు రోగాలు వస్తావో డిజాస్టర్ కూడా అదే విధంగా మన ప్రకృతిని నాశనం చేస్తున్నాం సార్. ప్రకృతిని రక్షిస్తే అది మనం రక్షిస్తుంది. ఈరోజు ఏంటంటే అర్బన్ సిటీస్ అన్నీ చెరువులు కానీ లేకపోతే గుట్టలు ఎక్కడ గుట్టలు ఉంటే ఆ గుట్టలన్నీ చదును చేసి ప్లాట్లు వేస్తున్నారు. వ్యవసాయ పంట పొలాలని అన్ని మార్చి ప్లాట్లు చేసి అమ్మేస్తున్నారు. మీరు ఇక్కడ నుండి చూడండి, ఒక 200-300 కిలోమీటర్ల దాకా పొలాలన్నీ నాశనం చేసి రేపు పంటలు కూడా పండకుండా మొత్తం ప్లాట్లు చేసి అమ్ముకుంటున్నారు. ఏంటంటే ప్రకృతిలో మనకు ఏంటంటే నీరు, భూమి, మన గుట్టలు వల్ల ప్రకృతి సిద్ధంగా ఏవైతే వచ్చినా వాళ్ళని మనం ప్రకృతి నాశనం చేయకుండా వాడిని కాపాడితే ఇలాంటి డిజాస్టర్స్ ఏంటంటే ఈ వరదలు కానీ ఇలాంటి ఇప్పుడు చైనాలో వచ్చినాయి అలాంటివి రాకుండా ఉండడానికి మనము సహకరించిన వాళ్ళు అవుతాము. ప్రతి ఒక్కరు ప్రకృతిని రక్షించడానికి ప్రయత్నం చేయాలి, కానీ ప్రకృతిని నాశనం చేయకుండా దాన్ని ప్రతి ఒక్కరు ఇదేంటంటే చిన్న స్కూల్ పిల్లల నుండి ప్రతి ఒక్కరు స్కూల్లో ఇది ఒక పాఠ్యాంశంగా మార్చి ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి చెప్పి దీని చిన్నతనం నుండే ప్రతి ఒక్కరిని ఎడ్యుకేట్ చేయాలని నేను నా తరఫున నేను చెప్తున్నాను సార్.
Thank you, Balaswamy. I invite Dr. Shivprasad. Please, sir. Yeah.
సార్, మొదట గురు పౌర్ణమి నా గురువులు పురుషోత్తమ రెడ్డి గారు, గురుతుల్యులు సుబ్బారావు గారు, అనేక మంది పెద్దలు మీ ఆశీర్వాదం తీసుకుంటూ ఈరోజు ఇటువంటి ఒక మంచి విషయాన్ని, ఎందుకంటే మీరు మొదలు పెట్టినప్పటి నుంచి ఒక పవర్ పాయింట్ ప్రజెంటేషన్ చాలా చక్కగా, అసలు నేషనల్ డిజాస్టర్ అంటే ఏంది, విపత్తు అంటే ఏంది, విపత్తు కొనసాగడానికి గల కారణాలు, విపత్తు ఎందుకు నివారించలేకపోయినాం, వీటిని అన్ని చక్కగా మీరు వివరించడం జరిగింది. తద్వారా సామాన్యులకు కూడా అసలు విపత్తు అంటే ఏంది, ఈ మహమ్మారి, ఇప్పుడు ఉన్న మహమ్మారి కూడా ఒక విపత్తే కదా. పాతకాలం ఎపిడెమాలజీ యాక్ట్ను చూపించి ఇంకా మనను ఆ కోణంలో నుంచి బయటికి తేకపోవడం అనేది ఈరోజు ఎదుగుతున్నటువంటి సమాజంలో సభ్య సమాజానికి ఎటు తోచని ఒక అయోమయ పరిస్థితిని అన్ని దేశాలు కల్పించడం, దాన్ని ఫస్ట్ మనం తీవ్రంగా ఖండిస్తూ, మీరు బహుచక్కగా సామాన్యులకు అర్థమయ్యే విధంగా మీరు మాట్లాడడం, తదుపరి సాయి గారు, మా గురువు గారు పురుషోత్తమ రెడ్డి గారు కూడా విలువైనటువంటి సమాచారాన్ని ఈరోజు ప్రజల ముందర పెట్టడమే కాకుండా ఎప్పటి మాదిరిగానే మైసూర్ మహారాజా జగన్నాథ్ గారు చాలా చక్కగా మీరు చెప్పిన దానికి అన్ని జోడించి ఈ విపత్కర పరిస్థితులు, దానికి గల కారణాలు మనమా, ప్రకృతి, ఇంతకుముందు బాలస్వామి గారు చెప్పినట్టు ప్రకృతి వైపరీత్యాలు ఎందుకు జరుగుతూ ఉంటాయి. వారు ఇంకొక ఉదాహరణ కూడా, ఎక్కడది నాకు సరిగ్గా వినలేని, ఒరిస్సా అనుకుంటా, అక్కడ సముద్రం భూమిని ఒక ఆ స్క్వేర్ కిలోమీటర్స్ లెక్కలో మొత్తాన్ని ఆక్రమించడం అంటే ఇది రేపు రాను రాను ఈ భూమి మీరు చెప్పినట్టు ఇట్ ఈస్ అ డైనమిక్ థింగ్, ఇట్ ఈస్ అ ఆర్గానిక్ థింగ్. ఆర్ వీ గోయింగ్ టు పెరిష్ బికాస్ వీఆర్ డిస్టర్బింగ్ ది నేచర్? This is a big doubt I have, and a fear also I have in my mind. So I have seen, I will just relate one incident in regards to Kerala. I am son-in-law of Kerala. Last 2 seasons, floods the way they were happening in Kerala. The river flows and it throws out all those, right from bottles to everything which were thrown into the river. Unfortunately, once the very few days later, the river comes back to its normal stage, wherein our people, the concerned citizens, without any responsibility, they throw everything back. And another example is the Periyar River. When it was flowing, it was even threatening Cochin International Airport, because the flow, the directions, the flow of the river is thwarted by these concrete jungles in the name of development. Whether such development is sustainable, that is what one thing. The other aspect, now coming to latest pandemic, how prepared we were and how prepared we are even after 1.5 years of this pandemic really shows us in a very bad light, echoing Jagannathan Gari clear statement, every district has got a disaster management. ప్రతి జిల్లాకు జిల్లా విపత్తు ఒక సంస్థ ఉన్నప్పుడు ఎందుకు మనము మహమ్మారి లాంటి ఒక ఉదాహరణ చెప్తా ఉన్నా, సంవత్సరం తర్వాత కూడా ఇంకా లాక్డౌన్స్ అనడం, ఇంకా ప్రజా ఆరోగ్యాన్ని మనం మెరుగుపరుచుకోకపోవడం, దీనికి ఏదైతే కారణమో ఆక్సిజన్ అని మనం మొత్తుకుంటా ఉన్నాం, ఫంగస్ అని మళ్ళీ దాని తర్వాత మొత్తుకుంటా ఉన్నాం, వాటిని ఎందుకు నివారించలేకపోతున్నాం 1.5 సంవత్సరం తర్వాత? ఈవెన్ ఆఫ్టర్ 1.5 years we still cry hoarse on oxygen availability in the hospitals, and also destroying the nature, at the same time again getting exposed to newer and newer infections called fungus. So that means the foci, we are fighting the enemy in blind. That's what I wanted to tell. When you fight the enemy in blind, these type of disasters keep happening, and when are we going to learn? So retrospectively, today's topic and the way you have presented it with all the lovely audio visual presentations will go a long way to sensitize people at large. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Pushakallidanu, with your permission.
ఒక సుభాష్
Subhash, you would like to add anything? Subhash, గప్చుప్ వినిపోతా ఉంది. సుభాష్, నీ టాపిక్ నెక్స్ట్ వీక్ పెడతాం.
కంక్లూడ్ చేయాలి సుభాష్ అన్న.
Right. Okay, it's 9:30. Thank you, Dr. Shiv Prasad, Professor Purushottam Reddy garu, Jagannath garu, Sai Kumar, Sadanand Reddy garu, Banu Prakash, Dr. K.S. and all others. Subhash Reddy. అన్నిటికన్నా ముఖ్యమైనది ఏమిటి అంటే ఎర్త్ ఈజ్ డైనమిక్. భూమి పుట్టినప్పటి నుంచి అది వాల్కనో పగులుతూనే ఉంది, ఎనర్జీ బయటకు వస్తుంది. ఎన్ని వరదలు వచ్చినాయో ఎవరికి, కొన్ని సివిలైజేషన్సే పోయినాయి. ఇండస్ వ్యాలీ సివిలైజేషన్ అనండి, ఇంకోటనండి. సో వీ నీడ్ టు రెస్పెక్ట్, వీ నీడ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ ది డైనమిక్స్ ఆఫ్ earth. Earthquakes are common, floods are common. If there is no flood, there is no new soil. If there is no volcanic eruption, there is no rich soils. So these are all, intermittent. Earth breathes. గాలిలో ఉన్న నైట్రోజన్ సాయిల్లోకి ఫిక్సేషన్ ఎలా అవుతుంది? నీరుని తాగుతుంది, వర్షం పడగానే నీరు భూమిలోకి. సో Earth is an organic thing, and we should also understand its dynamic behavior. తెలుగులో చెప్తారు, నక్కబుట్టి 4 రోజులు గాలే ఇంత పెద్ద వర్షం చూడలేదా. అట్లనే చాలా మందికి ఏమనిపిస్తుంది అంటే ఏదో ఎర్త్క్వేక్. మై డియర్ ఫ్రెండ్స్, తెలంగాణ ఈజ్ అన్ ఎర్త్క్వేక్ ప్రోన్ జోన్. భద్రాచలం, ఖమ్మం, దే ఆర్ ఆల్ ఎర్త్క్వేక్ ప్రోన్ ఏరియాస్, ఇంక్లూడింగ్ ఆదిలాబాద్. Okay, so we need to look into it. All these fossils, tree fossils, which were buried, indicates that floods happened in Manbur also. These are all the geological indicators. We should understand it. Understand the dynamics of earth, organic nature of earth, and design for the environment. So that is the only way to create a resilience in the human habitations. మనము బతకాలి, మనతో పాటు సకల సమస్త జీవరాశులు. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద థింగ్. ఫస్ట్ థింగ్ బాలస్వామి గారు అన్నట్టు disaster risk reduction అన్నాం మనం చాలా ఇదిగా. So I once again thank everybody for patiently hearing and participating in this disaster risk reduction and management. Thank you so much. Good night and Shab Khair. Shubh Raat. Thank you.
Good night.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్, గుడ్ నైట్.
Thank you.